You don't become unstoppable by wishing for it. You become unstoppable by showing up every single day, even when no one is watching. I know what it feels like to stand at the edge of doubt, to question whether your dreams are too big, too far, or too impossible. I've been there, unsure, afraid, wondering if my voice could ever matter in a world that seemed already full. But here's the truth. The world isn't waiting for permission, and neither should you. You have within you a strength that is quiet, yet unstoppable. It doesn't announce itself in grand gestures, and it doesn't wait for anyone's permission to exist. I want you to take a moment and really feel that. Right now, wherever you are, pause, breathe, and recognize that there is a force inside you, your own inner power, that has carried you this far, even when you didn't believe it could. We often underestimate ourselves. We look at others and think they are stronger, luckier, or more capable. But the truth is, the power you need to move mountains has been inside you all along. You just have to own it. I remember a time when I was stepping into a room full of people I didn't know, with expectations I wasn't sure I could meet. My heart was racing, my hands were trembling. I questioned whether my voice would matter, whether my presence would make a difference. And yet, I took a deep breath and reminded myself that fear is not a stop sign, it is a signal. It is a reminder that something important is waiting for you on the other side. That day I chose to trust in myself. I chose to focus on what I could give, rather than what I might lose. And in that choice, I discovered a quiet confidence I didn't know I had. Owning your inner power is not about arrogance or proving yourself to others. It's about recognizing your worth, your gifts, and your capacity to face life's challenges with courage. It is a still, unwavering faith in yourself, even when the world shakes its head in doubt. Every time you step into your own light, you give yourself permission to shine, and in doing so, you allow others to see your brilliance too. This is not about being louder than anyone else or overshadowing anyone. It's about claiming the space that is rightfully yours and standing firmly in it. Think about all the moments you have doubted yourself. Maybe it was the first time you raised your hand in class, the first time you spoke in a meeting, the first time you shared your dreams with someone who didn't understand. Each of those moments required courage. Each of those moments was a choice to trust in your own power, even if you didn't fully feel it. And every time you do that, you are building a muscle inside you, a muscle of resilience, confidence, and self-belief that will carry you through life's storms. Your inner power is also tied to your purpose. When you connect deeply to why you are here, to what you are meant to create, it fuels a fire that nothing can extinguish. I have learned that when you operate from purpose, fear loses its grip, doubt becomes a passing shadow, and obstacles turn into lessons. Your inner power is not something you find outside of yourself. It is discovered in the way you respond to challenges, in the choices you make when no one is watching, and in the faith you keep alive when circumstances seem impossible. There will be times when the world tells you that you are not enough. There will be moments when your own mind whispers that you are too small, too weak, too ordinary. But here's the truth, you are extraordinary. You have been given a unique combination of talent, experience, and heart that no one else possesses. To own your inner power is to fully embrace that truth, to step boldly into every situation, knowing that your presence matters, your voice matters, and your dreams matter. And once you do, doors begin to open, not because the world owes you anything, but because the universe responds to the energy of someone who knows their worth. Owning your inner power also requires action. You cannot simply think about it or wish for it. It is built in the doing, in showing up, in speaking up, in taking steps toward your dreams, even when they scare you. Each action, no matter how small, reinforces your confidence. Each time you choose courage over comfort, your inner power grows stronger. It becomes unshakable, it becomes undeniable, and eventually it radiates outward, touching everything you do and everyone you meet. So today, I want you to make a promise to yourself. Promise that you will honor the strength within you. Promise that you will trust your voice, your heart, your instincts. Step into life fully aware of your own power and carry it with humility, grace, and purpose. The world may try to dim your light, but nothing can extinguish it if you refuse to let it. You were born to shine. You were born to make a difference. And you were born to own the power that lives inside you, unapologetically, fully, and forever. Motivation is fleeting. It's exciting. It's fiery. It makes you feel like you can conquer the world. But it doesn't last. It comes in waves sometimes. On the mornings when you feel unstoppable, and disappears in the evenings when exhaustion hits or when the world doesn't give you the applause you were hoping for. Discipline, on the other hand, is steady. Discipline doesn't need a spotlight. It doesn't care if anyone is watching. It's quiet, persistent, and it is the foundation of every great achievement you have ever admired. Winners are not people who wait for motivation. They are people who harness discipline day after day when motivation fades. I want to share something very personal with you. There were days when I was completely exhausted, physically, emotionally, spiritually, days when I felt like giving up on auditions, on opportunities, on myself. Days when fear whispered that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't strong enough. And yet, I discovered that if I showed up, if I kept going even, when I didn't feel like it, the results would always surprise me. That is the power of discipline. It is not glamorous. It doesn't give you instant gratification, but it gives you consistency. And consistency builds trust with yourself and with the universe. Discipline is about creating habits that carry you toward your dreams. It's waking up before the world wakes up and working on what matters, even if the world doesn't notice. It's practicing, learning, improving, failing, and trying again. It's choosing to do the hard work when shortcuts tempt you. Every time you honor discipline over convenience, you are investing in your future self. You are telling yourself that your dreams are worth the effort, that your vision is bigger than temporary comfort, and that you are capable of achieving more than you ever thought possible. I remember when I first began working internationally, far away from home, in a world that seemed too big, too competitive, too unfamiliar. I had to train myself, not just to act, but to navigate a life that demanded courage, focus, and relentless commitment. There were moments when I was tired, when failure felt heavy, when the distance from home made loneliness unbearable. And still I showed up. Every time I did, I discovered a strength within myself I had never known. That strength wasn't luck, it was discipline. It was the choice to keep going even when motivation had already left the room. Discipline teaches you patience. It teaches you to trust the process even when results are invisible. You may not see progress every day. You may not feel like you are moving fast enough. But when you commit to consistent action, small steps accumulate into momentum. And that momentum turns dreams into reality. Motivation is the spark. Discipline is the fire that keeps you burning. Without discipline, motivation is meaningless. With discipline, you are unstoppable. It's also about integrity with yourself. You see, when you show up every day for the things that matter, when you honor your commitments to your goals, you are building self-respect. You are telling yourself, I am reliable, I am capable, I am worthy of my own trust. Nothing builds confidence faster than consistency. Nothing creates a winner faster than the quiet, relentless practice of showing up. So today, I want you to understand this deeply. Motivation will not carry you. Inspiration will not carry you. Only discipline, the discipline to rise when it's hard, to continue when it's lonely, to persist when no one is cheering, will shape you into the person you are meant to be. Make it a habit, make it a practice. Treat every day as an opportunity to prove to yourself that you are committed, you are capable, and you will never quit on your dreams. When you cultivate discipline, you become someone the world can rely on, someone who doesn't wait for luck, someone who doesn't stop because the conditions aren't perfect. You become unstoppable, not because life is easy, because you refuse to let difficulty define you. You become undeniable, not because the world handed you success, but because you worked for it every single day with courage, focus, and faith. Discipline is your superpower. It transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. It turns fleeting motivation into lasting impact. And when you embrace it fully, you realize that there is nothing you cannot accomplish. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is a part of it. And yet so many of us fear it, as if it's a permanent mark on our story. I've been there. I've faced moments when doors closed, opportunities slipped through my fingers, and my own expectations of myself went unmet. I remember auditions where I gave everything I had, only to be told I wasn't the right fit. I remember projects I poured my heart into that never reached the light. At first, each rejection felt like a defeat, like the world was telling me I wasn't enough. But over time I realized that every no was a lesson in disguise, a step forward rather than a step back. Failing forward means choosing to see every setback as a stepping stone. It's about looking at failure and asking, what is this teaching me? How can I grow from this? It's easy to let failure crush you, to let it convince you that you don't have what it takes. But winners do the opposite. They extract wisdom from every fall. They turn disappointment into fuel. They understand that failure isn't a destination. It's a detour that guides you closer to your purpose. I want you to think about the moments when you failed. Really think about them. Maybe it was a relationship that didn't work out, a job you didn't get, a dream you had to pause. At first, it felt like the end of the road. But in hindsight, every one of those experiences taught you something invaluable. They taught you resilience, humility, patience, and self-awareness. They showed you what didn't work so you could focus on what would. They revealed strengths you didn't know you had and clarified what you truly wanted. That is the power of failing forward. The world will try to convince you that failure is shameful, that it defines you. But it doesn't. You define yourself. Every time you rise after a fall, you prove that your spirit is unbreakable. Every time you try again, you demonstrate courage. Every time you learn and adapt, you grow wiser. That is how you turn failure into an asset. How you convert what could have been a roadblock into a roadmap. I've learned that failing forward also requires forgiveness of yourself and of circumstances. You cannot carry regret like a heavy weight and expect to soar. You must accept the missteps, embrace the lessons, and move forward with your heart open and your vision clear. This is not always easy. It requires humility, strength, and faith. Faith that the universe, God, or life itself is guiding you towards something greater, even when the path looks uncertain or the outcome seems far away. Every successful person has failed. Every person who has reached heights you admire has been knocked down, questioned themselves, and faced moments when the world seemed against them. The difference between those who succeed and those who give up is not talent or luck, it is perspective. The difference is the ability to fail forward, to keep going, to keep learning, to keep believing, to take each setback and use it as a springboard rather than a trap. And here's the beautiful part. When you embrace failure as a teacher, fear loses its grip. You stop being paralyzed by the possibility of falling because you know that every fall has value. Every fall has a lesson. Every fall is part of the journey to becoming the person you are meant to be. You learn patience, resilience, and strategy. You learn to trust yourself. And slowly, imperceptibly, you begin to see that failure is not a curse, it is a gift. So I want you to promise yourself this. You will not fear failure. You will not let it define you. You will fail forward. You will rise, you will learn, you will grow, and you will continue. Every time you stumble, you will take the lesson, not the shame. Every time you fall, you will carry yourself higher than before. Every failure is a brushstroke on the canvas of your undeniable life. It is not a mark of defeat. It is a mark of courage. Remember this, your setbacks are not your story. Your resilience, your perseverance, your willingness to learn and rise again, that is the story. And that story, my dear, is what will make you undeniable. Your mind is sacred. It is the soil where every dream, every idea, every action begins. And just like soil, it can be nourished or it can be poisoned. What you feed your mind grows. If you allow negativity, doubt, and fear to take root, they will spread, choking your potential and clouding your vision. But if you choose truth, gratitude, courage, and faith, your mind becomes fertile ground for greatness. I want you to take a moment and think about the thoughts you allow to linger. Are they lifting you up, or are they quietly holding you back? I faced moments when my mind was my worst enemy. Moments when I questioned my worth, my talent, my choices. When I looked in the mirror, I didn't see possibility, I saw limitation. When I read headlines or heard criticism, I felt the weight of the world pressing down. It's easy to let external voices invade your inner world, to let comparison, doubt, and fear dictate your reality. But I learned that protecting your mind is not just about avoiding negativity, it's about consciously choosing what you allow to influence you. It's about building a fortress around your thoughts and inviting only what serves your growth. Protecting your mind requires discipline, not just in action, but in thought. Every time you hear that critical voice in your head, remind yourself, I am more than this fear. I am stronger than this doubt. I am capable of greatness. These affirmations are not just words, they are declarations of faith in yourself. And the more you repeat them, the more your mind begins to believe them. Because your mind is listening. Every thought, every reflection, every inner dialogue shapes your reality. I want you to imagine your mind as a garden. If you plant seeds of negativity, self-doubt, fear, resentment, they will grow and they will consume the space meant for your dreams. But if you plant seeds of courage, gratitude, and belief, you create a garden where possibility flourishes. I learned to do this by consciously choosing what I consume, the books I read, the people I spend time with, the media I allow in. I chose inspiration over criticism, learning over judgment, love over resentment. And slowly, my mind transformed. It became a place of strength, clarity, and creativity. Protecting your mind also means letting go. Letting go of past failures that replay like a broken record. Letting go of opinions that don't serve you. Letting go of comparisons that steal your peace. I've realized that mental clutter is more dangerous than external obstacles. A cluttered mind cannot focus, cannot dream, and cannot act decisively. By clearing space, by choosing carefully what occupies your mental energy, you open the door to clarity, to innovation, and to action that matters. Your mind is also deeply connected to faith. When fear threatens to invade, when doubt tries to take over, when the world seems too heavy, faith anchors you. Faith reminds you that there is a higher purpose, that every challenge is temporary, that your path is guided, and faith gives you the courage to protect your mind, to refuse toxic thinking, and to nurture thoughts that build your life instead of breaking it. I've discovered that protecting your mind is one of the greatest acts of self-love. It is a declaration that you matter. It is a statement that you will not be defined by negativity or by what others say, but by the strength, clarity, and vision that reside within you. Every great decision, every courageous step, every dream realized begins here, in the mind that is disciplined, nourished, and protected. So today, I want you to make a commitment. Guard your thoughts as fiercely as you guard your dreams. Speak to yourself with kindness. Choose what you allow into your mind carefully. Remove the voices that diminish your potential and replace them with voices that lift, challenge, and inspire you. Protect your mind, because once it is strong, focused, and clear, nothing in the world can shake you. Your mind is your greatest asset, your inner sanctuary, and your launching pad for greatness. Protect it, nourish it, defend it, and watch as the world begins to respond. Not because it owes you recognition, but because you have become undeniable from the inside out. No one owes you your dreams. Not fate, not luck, not talent, and certainly not the people around you. The truth is, Your life is your responsibility. And the moment you accept that, everything changes. Taking ownership of your life is not about blame or guilt, it's about power. It's about realizing that you are the captain of your ship, the architect of your story, and the only one who can turn your vision into reality. When I embraced this truth, I began to see that every obstacle, every challenge, every setback was not a punishment. It was an invitation to step up, to lead, and to claim the life I wanted. I remember when I first moved away from home, leaving everything familiar behind. I was in a country where I didn't know anyone, working in an industry that felt bigger than my dreams. Fear was constant, uncertainty was overwhelming. And yet, I understood that no one would hand me success on a silver platter. If I wanted it, I had to take it. I had to own every decision, every action, every consequence. That mindset changed everything. I stopped waiting for opportunity and started creating it. I stopped blaming circumstances and started finding solutions. I stopped looking for permission and started trusting my own authority. Taking ownership also means owning your choices, the big ones and the small ones. Every day you make decisions that shape your life. Some are visible, like your career moves, your relationships, or your investments in personal growth. Others are quieter, like how you respond to criticism, how you handle disappointment, or how you nurture your own heart. Every choice is yours. Every response is yours. And when you stop shifting responsibility onto others or external conditions, you realize that you have the power to shape your destiny. This is not always easy. Ownership requires courage because it demands accountability. It requires maturity because it asks you to face yourself honestly. And it requires faith because it asks you to trust that your efforts, your persistence, and your vision will carry you even when the road is difficult. But there is nothing more liberating than the moment you stop playing the victim and start playing the creator of your life. You move from passivity to action. You move from fear to confidence. You move from waiting to winning. I have learned that taking ownership also means embracing your failures as your responsibility, not to punish yourself, but to learn, not to dwell, but to grow. When you own your failures, you remove excuses from your path. You stop blaming circumstances, other people, or luck. You take control, and in doing so, you reclaim your power. You understand that setbacks are not endings. They are feedback. They are guidance to adjust your course, refine your strategy, and try again with more wisdom and resilience. Taking ownership also extends to your dreams. You cannot rely on someone else to chase them for you, to validate them, or to make them happen. The people around you may support you, cheer for you, or offer advice, but they cannot live your life for you. Only you can invest the time, energy, and faith needed to bring your vision to life. And when you do, when you fully embrace this responsibility, something incredible happens. You become unstoppable. You become someone who doesn't wait for doors to open. You build doors. You don't wait for permission, you create permission. You don't follow life, you lead it. And here is the most powerful part. When you take ownership of your life, fear loses its grip. Doubt becomes a tool, not a prison. Obstacles transform into opportunities. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what can I do next? This mindset turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers because it aligns every thought, every action, and every choice with the life you are determined to create. So today, I want you to make a commitment. Own your life. Own your choices. Own your dreams. Stop waiting for permission, for luck, or for someone else's approval. Step fully into your power, embrace accountability, and walk boldly on the path you are meant to walk. The world will challenge you, but you will respond. Life will test you, but you will rise. Circumstances may shift, but you will remain steadfast. Because when you take ownership of your life, you stop being a passenger. You become a leader. You become a creator. You become undeniable. And nothing can stand in your way. Success is not just about what you achieve, it's about what you give. I have learned that the true measure of greatness is not in personal glory, awards, or recognition. It is in the impact you have on others, in the lives you touch, and in the difference you make along the way. To serve while you soar means to rise, not for yourself alone, but to lift others as you climb. It is a mindset that transforms your achievements from being merely impressive to being truly unforgettable. I remember early in my career, when opportunities were scarce and challenges felt overwhelming. It would have been easy to focus solely on myself, to hoard knowledge, to guard my success jealously. But I realized something important: when you invest in others, when you mentor, support, or simply inspire by example, your own journey becomes richer, stronger, and more meaningful. Service is not a sacrifice, it is a multiplier. Every act of kindness, every moment of guidance, every effort to empower someone else reflects back, amplifying your own power and impact. Serving while soaring also means carrying humility with ambition. The world will try to teach you that success is a solitary pursuit, that it is about being better than others, about competition and comparison. But true leaders know that the higher you climb, the more responsibility you have to lift those around you. I have met people whose achievements are impressive, but whose influence is empty because they forgot the importance of service. And I have seen the opposite: ordinary people who poured into others and became extraordinary in their impact. This is the magic of serving while you soar. It's in the small acts as much as the grand ones. Listening when so. Meone needs guidance, offering encouragement when someone feels invisible, sharing your knowledge without keeping score. These are the ways you serve while soaring. I have learned that these moments, often quiet and unseen, build a legacy far more enduring than trophies or titles ever could. Your impact becomes undeniable not because of how high you rise alone, but because of how many lives you elevate as you rise. I want you to consider your own journey. Think about the mentors who believed in you, the friends who supported you, the strangers whose words or actions lifted you when you were struggling. Those moments mattered more than we realize. Now imagine passing that forward, being the source of encouragement, strength, and inspiration for someone else. That is what it means to serve while you soar. It is to recognize that your gifts are not just for your own use, but for the greater good. Serving while soaring also requires courage and vision. It is easier to focus only on yourself, to chase recognition, to measure success in isolation. But when you choose to serve, you embrace responsibility, empathy, and leadership. You see the bigger picture. You understand that your life is connected to others, and that your achievements carry more meaning when they help someone else achieve theirs. This mindset turns your success into purpose, your ambition into influence, and your victories into legacy. Faith also plays a role here. When you serve while soaring, you trust that generosity and kindness are never wasted. You trust that what you give comes back in ways you cannot foresee. You trust that your actions ripple beyond the moments you see, touching lives in ways that may one day return to bless you in ways unimaginable. Serving while soaring requires this trust, this patience, and this belief that your impact matters even when it is invisible. So today I want you to make a choice. As you pursue your dreams, as you climb higher, commit to lifting others along the way. Let your success be a bridge, not a wall. Let your achievements be a light, not a spotlight. Empower, inspire, guide, and uplift, because the world needs your influence more than it needs your accolades. And in doing so, you will discover something remarkable. The higher you soar, the stronger your roots of compassion, purpose, and legacy grow. Serving while soaring makes your journey unforgettable. It makes you undeniable, not because you climbed alone, but because you rose while lifting others, because your light became a beacon, because your success became a gift. And that is a truth that no obstacle, no failure, and no doubt can ever take away. The world will tell you what you cannot do. It will offer a million reasons why your dreams are too big, too bold, or too impossible. Your mind may whisper doubts, and fear may try to convince you that your vision is unrealistic. But here is the truth I have learned. The impossible exists only in the mind. The moment you choose faith, courage, and relentless belief, the impossible begins to dissolve. It transforms from a barrier into a challenge, from a limitation into a stepping stone, from a fear into a possibility. Believing in the impossible is the heartbeat of every great life ever lived. I remember moments in my own journey when the odds were stacked against me. There were times I wondered if leaving home, pursuing a dream in a foreign country, and chasing opportunities that seemed unreachable was worth it. There were days I felt the weight of doubt pressing down, convincing me that I wasn't enough, that I wasn't ready, that I would never make it. And yet in those moments I realized that belief is not the absence of fear, it is the courage to move forward despite it. Every time I chose to believe, to act, to take one more step toward what seemed impossible, I discovered doors opening, paths forming, and opportunities appearing that I could never have imagined. Belief in the impossible is rooted in faith. Faith in yourself, in the process, and in something greater than yourself. It is trusting that the universe has a way of aligning circumstances, people, and resources in your favor when you refuse to give up. I have witnessed miracles in my own life, not because life was easy, but because I chose to keep believing, to keep working, to keep showing up, even when the path was unclear. Faith turns uncertainty into potential, hesitation into action, and dreams into reality. To believe in the impossible also requires vision. You must see beyond what is visible. You must imagine the life you want, even if the world cannot see it yet. Many people give up because they only believe in what they can touch, measure, or prove. But every great achievement began as something invisible, uncertain, and improbable. The airplane, the cure for a disease, the first person to walk on the moon, all of it started as belief in what others said was impossible. Your dreams are no different. Believing in the impossible demands courage, persistence, and resilience. There will be setbacks, rejections, and moments when the world seems determined to tell you that your dreams cannot come true. But the very essence of the impossible is that it requires persistence. It requires daring to rise every time you fall, to speak every time you are silenced, and to act every time fear whispers, "Stop." Courage is the fuel, belief is the engine, and resilience is the navigation system. Together they transform what seems impossible into inevitable. I want you to understand something deeply. Believing in the impossible is not naive optimism. It is strategic faith. It is disciplined imagination combined with relentless action. It is refusing to let the limitations of others, or even your own self-doubt, define what is possible for you. When you commit to this belief, you begin to notice opportunities that were always there, but invisible to eyes clouded by doubt. You begin to take actions that others consider too risky. You begin to become someone who doesn't just dream, but does. Someone who doesn't just hope, but achieves. And here is the most beautiful truth. The impossible begins to believe in you too. When you act with courage, when you refuse to surrender, when you keep showing up for your dreams, life starts to conspire in your favor. Doors open, paths appear, people and resources align. What once seemed impossible becomes possible, then probable, then inevitable. Believing in the impossible is the magic that turns your dreams into your destiny. So today I want you to make a promise. Do not let the world define your limits. Do not let fear, doubt, or circumstance convince you that your dreams are too big. Choose faith, choose courage, choose relentless belief. Step forward even when you cannot see the entire path. Act even when the outcome is uncertain. Trust that your vision, your persistence, and your heart are enough to bring the impossible into your reality. Because the truth is this, the impossible is only impossible until you decide it isn't. And once you do, you will see that your dreams are not only achievable, they are inevitable. You were born to rise beyond limits. to create what others cannot imagine, and to become utterly undeniable in the life you were meant to live. So here's the truth I want you to carry with you: your inner power, your discipline, your courage to fail forward, your ability to protect your mind, your ownership of your life, your choice to serve while you soar, and your belief in the impossible. These are the foundations of an undeniable life. Each lesson builds on the other, like stepping stones across a river. Alone, one may help you cross a small stream, but together, they create a bridge to everything you've ever dreamed of. Every challenge you face, every obstacle in your path, every doubt you feel, these are not signs that you should stop. They are proof that you are growing, that you are moving closer to becoming the person you were meant to be. The world will try to define you, to tell you what is possible and what isn't. But the most powerful thing you can do is refuse to accept those limits. Stand tall, show up, keep going, keep believing, keep giving, keep rising. And remember, being undeniable is not about being the loudest in the room or having the most accolades. It is about the quiet strength within you, the unwavering faith in your abilities, the discipline to keep going when it's hard, the courage to learn from every fall, the clarity to guard your mind, the responsibility to lead your life, the generosity to lift others as you rise, and the vision to believe that the impossible can be achieved. When you embody all of this, you shine in a way that cannot be ignored. So today, make a promise to yourself. Commit to your growth. Commit to your dreams. Commit to your purpose. Step into the world with confidence, faith, and relentless determination. Do not wait for someone else to validate your worth. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not wait for permission. Your time is now. The life you imagine is within reach if you are willing to claim it, own it, and fight for it every single day. Don't just dream, wake up and make it real. The world will try to define you. Rewrite the definition yourself. Every setback is just a setup for your next big rise. You don't need permission to shine. Own your light, unapologetically, and become utterly undeniable.